today I will be talking about how we build Power BI reports using Gorgias' data and other sources and what the benefits are. We would usually get requests for Power BI reports to be custom built, and whenever we ask what their pain points are, they would usually say some of the following. I'm stuck with out of the box measures and metrics. I can't intermingle data between tickets and messages easily, and I can't bring my data from different sources together very quickly. So, as a heavy report user myself, I know how challenging it can be when you want to derive insights from your tech stack. So, I will be showing you a sample report that we built that addresses that, and next would be a high level data strategy that we have implemented for a client. So, the first one, whenever we create a report for an engagement, it would usually start with a high-level executive summary. We usually break down the metrics into volume and productivity, efficiency, and quality. So as you can see, you get high-level information very quickly. This is because we're using Microsoft Fabric as the foundation of our reporting. Diving deeper, let's take a look at the quality report. So this is something that is not native to Gorgias, for example. The CSAT report shows what the current CSAT score is. You get the response rate, and based on what your curated tags are and ticket demographics and your team roster, you can quickly see what the trend is. So in this case, let's take a look and see how member support is performing. And we get all of that. And this is broken down by membership type. These are custom tags set forth by one of our clients, and we created the structure for the reporting using tags this way. Now, here's another example. This is an interval report. Here we can select what the average total comments are, then maybe change the rolling period comparison. So instead of 80, we just do 90 days. But what separates this report from the one in Gorgias is that we can also relate it to another tool that we have. In this case, our timekeeping tool. Agent is on training. For example, let's just look at PS-led training. And then after a while, that person went on productive, and then finally went on productive up until 1 p.m., in which that person went on paid break. So finally, we also made a self-service analysis report that allows you to quickly get your answer using a three-step method that I'm demonstrating right now. So let's just say that I want to check the CSAT performance based on ticket status, right? I can do so in the start of week. I just click that, and you can see what the breakdown is like, and you'll be able to see all of the ticket information for tickets that are um, already closed, and you can see what the CSAT is. And then in the live version, if you hover over to the ticket, you can actually click on the ticket itself. The Gorgias window will pop up, and you'll be able to see the deeper level inside of Gorgias. Um, Other items that you can use to filter is through the tag, and then you can type in what the message content is, the subject, or what teammate you want. So you can do a lot more here, and we are happy to modify the fields you want sliced and diced. Now, how do we do all of that? We actually implement different strategies for each use case. In this scenario, the client's lifecycle stages in developing/evolving requirements, which means that sources change a lot. Business rules are added month over month to help the team succeed more. So in this case, we followed the bronze, silver, and gold medallion architecture with some differences in execution. In the bronze layer, it's very traditional. We pull JSON data via Spark and load the JSON file into our staging tables. Sometimes we use a combination of copy data activity and scaling data flow gen 2 to move data around. In our silver medallion, our approach is to heavily use data flow because we found out that it's much more efficient in terms of transferring data that are still changing, including data sources that are changing. Even metrics that are slowly evolving are better handled by data flow gen 2. So What's also great about this is that it allows the team to store data, we would say temporary data stored inside of Dataflow rather than creating a table each time a new source is introduced. So if it's no longer used, we don't really have to go into removing another table or changing the structure of the entire table. We can just keep it there, no longer update that, and just append another data flow. So very handy. Another thing that's great with the silver layer and using data flow is that we can chain data flows together. Um, when you load the data, it can just be stored inside the data flow. You don't really have to create tables like what I mentioned a while ago. And all of the calculations can be done within the cloud, which is way faster versus using your physical machines. So depending on how powerful your machine is, it would be some developers would run their queries onto the physical machine, but more often than not, it's faster doing it in the cloud. So the final layer is the gold medallion. Now, once the business rules are accepted, we actually modify the semantic model directly and have it validated by our customer success team. And when I say semantic model, it's actually the Power BI report that's published. We change the filters, the calculation, the formula, and once they say, okay, it's good to go, we just load that Power BI online, that published one, download that, run the performance analyzer, and it's going to generate a DAX query. We're just going to replace the query from our notebook and paste the new one, and it's fairly easy. It's just like that. Compared to the traditional ETL transformation processes, what we found here whenever we're using this whole strategy is that the transformation process becomes simple. So even citizen developers can do more and become faster rather than having to write SQL codes and doing a lot of fight and rework. They can actually just modify what they want to see in a matrix visual, click on performance analyzer and generate the DAX code, and then boom, you get the transformation quickly. That means that it's scalable. And because Power BI has native functions to generate those queries, you also, in return, you get speed. So it's as easy as that. Finally, here's a sample pipeline that talks about how we retrieve custom fields. So we had we set the variables for the start and end date. Then we use a data flow to load all of the tickets that we want to be queried to get their individual custom fields. So this is how it works. And then we run this code. And then this notebook would iterate for each of the ticket. It's going to generate one JSON file, and then once this finishes, it's just going to go and use Dataflow again to compile all of those JSON files and paste it into the table. That's it. For more questions about the strategy and the reports you've seen, please don't hesitate to reach us. We are happy to help.